listening to those opposite, you'd think that all is absolutely fabulous out and about across Australia. Well, let me tell you, as a senator for Western Australia, let me tell you, come out to any supermarket, anywhere where Australians are spending money, and in Western Australia, retail sales are down 30% last month because the cost of living is biting, and it is biting hard. So I'll challenge any one of you over there to come with myself and Senator O'Sullivan, go out into the suburbs of Perth and out in rural regional Australia, and you just trot out that rubbish about how great life is under you. It demonstrably is complete and utter lies. So if you think that people aren't feeling the cost of pressure through the inflationary measures that you're doing, through increased interest rates, then come and speak to real Australians, because let me tell you what they're telling us. They are saying that they are struggling to pay for their groceries. They are having to make incredibly difficult choices each and every day on how they feed their families. They are struggling to pay their power bills because you promised you would reduce them by $275, and instead they have gone up and up and up. And it's not only individuals and their families, it is businesses large and small who are struggling with all of these inflationary pressures that you've put on our economy. They are struggling to pay for their mortgages, and as we have heard, 800,000 Australians and many tens of thousands of Western Australians are about to come off fixed mortgages and fixed interest rates, and they will be struggling even further. And you are doing nothing but put further pressure on interest rates and inflation. West Australians are not only struggling to build a house or to afford a mortgage, they're also struggling. They are struggling to pay their rent with the increased unavailability of houses to rent. They are not taking holidays, and they are working significant overtime. In fact, 12% of Western Australians who are renting are looking to downsize their rental property, but of course they can't find any because the McGowan government has been completely derelict in actually providing greater housing stock and rental stocks in Western Australia. You are keeping, the Albanese Labor government is demonstrably putting pressure on the cost of living of all Western Australians. And please, please, please take up our offer, won't we, Senator O'Sullivan? We will take you to any shopping centre in Western Australia and you talk to real Australians and you tell them what tripe you've just put out here in this Senate. It is complete and utter rubbish. And of course, for Western Australians who deserve far better from this current government in terms of helping them with their cost of living, they've also subject to the complete dereliction of the McGowan Labor government. So in Western Australia, we have a double whammy. And again, if you're concerned about healthcare, come and talk to West Australians about the tragedies that impact on every family now in Australia. So they're not only struggling for their healthcare, their cost of living. Our hospitals in Western Australia, despite record funding from us when we were in government, are at breaking point. We have thousands and thousands of sick and injured Western Australians now who sit out for hours and hours and hours outside of the emergency room, not because the state government doesn't have enough money, it's because they cannot manage their doctors, their nurses, and make beds available. So Western Australians deserve so much better. So, for example, the WA State Labor government promise a lot on infrastructure. They have record surpluses, and yet they are not spending the money on healthcare. They've spent 6 years delivering supposedly better rail, the Metronet. And guess what? After 6 years and about 3 times the budget blowout, there is not a single train on any of those tracks yet. And people in outer suburbs who are already feeling the cost of living pressure are still having to pay exorbitant amounts and time to transport themselves to their places of work. And again, I have to note, in terms of Western Australia and West Australians deserving better, I mean, our Premier there is so out of touch. His comments today on Carnarvon, and having been there recently for his fly-in, fly-out, actually 18 months ago, fly-in, fly-out to do a publicity stunt, and he hasn't been up there since to have a look at the devastation that alcohol and also, many of the other issues, social issues that are plaguing Carnarvon. So Western Australians deserve better from both
Senator Smith,
state.
Senator Reynolds, please be seated.